Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back again with another game of Super Rugby, and this one is, I would say, the most important game for the Crusaders of their season. They are currently ranked 11th. You heard that correctly. We don't say it too often, or at least we hadn't before this season. This season it hasn't quite been the same for the Crusaders as past years. They've got a few returns coming back as the season wears on, though starting to look a little bit stronger. But they're now at that stage of the competition that every win is crucial. And if they can't get themselves the victories there, they might be going home. Looking through, first of all, at the table, the way that it sits after a win for the Fijian draw, they create a bit more of a gap and breathing room compared to the side that are in the 9th place with the Western Force, the Tars. They will be taking on the Force later on this evening. For the Crusaders, they are on 14 points. If they win this game, they will move up to 18. If they win it somehow with a bonus point, they will move up to 19. Whereas for the Brumbies, they are currently in 4th. They want to get back into that 3rd place position. And if they do get themselves a big win here over the Crusaders, they will be right on the heels of the Blues, who have a game in only a few hours' time up against the Highlanders. It's all to play for in this competition. Looking through, first of all, at this Brumbies side, who have been very impressive throughout this season. It is James Slipper, Connor McKennery, and also Alan Alatoa as the number 13. Darcy Swain and Cadron Neville as the locking duo. Such an important pivotal role to play in this contest. Nick Frost at 6 with Jerome Brown and Rob Ballatini to make up the rest of the loose forward trio. Ryan Lonergan is going to be there as the number 9 with Noel Lulisio as the 10. Tamati Tua and Len Iketel making up the midfield with Satsford, Muirhead and Tom Wright as the back 3. Now for the Crusaders, this side is slowly getting a little bit stronger each week, and hopefully we'll see some decent performance from them here. Now last weekend they did have a tough game up against the Highlanders, and they played some pretty decent rugby, but they still came away with a loss from that contest. Joe Moody, Cody Taylor, it was his first game back for the Crusaders last week, and they did suffer that defeat. Fletcher Null will be slotting in as the 3. So a strong forward pack on offer here for the Crusaders. Shalfoon and Quinton Strange as the locking duo. So no Dom Gardner or the other option in the locking duo, Jamie Hanna, for this contest. Also no Scott Barrett in this matchup. Cullen Grace will be playing 6. And also Tom Christie and Christian Leo Willie will make up the rest of the loose ball trio. Noah Hotham at 9 with Fergus Burke returning as the 10. David Havili, and also in the midfield, Hone Rover, a man who we haven't seen in action this season, but be sure to keep an eye out for him. He is an electric player. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in this contest. Sevu Reese, who's already scored 11 tries throughout this competition. Che Fiaki out on the other wing, and Johnny McNichol at 15. The thing is, right, when you think about it, how can a man have 11 tries to his name and his side also be in 11th? What are the rest of them doing, you have to ask the question. And that's probably what Rob Penny's asked himself quite a bit throughout this season. Rob Scott. His name's either Scott or Rob. I keep on mixing him up with the other man. I think we lost more games this year than Razor lost in 7 years, says Dwayne. But yeah, of course, Razor had a little bit of a stronger side than Penny has got for this contest, and also for in general. Losing about 11 or 12 All Blacks from a starting lineup hurts you big time. And Satyrs, or what if the Satyrs win? Then if the Satyrs win this game, they have still got the hopes of making the top 8. Even if they lose, they still have the hopes of making the top 8 as well. One moment, we will go like this. And like that. So currently the way that it sits, the Brumbies are favourites. And that makes sense at the end of the day. Are they? Yeah, they are. There we go. Right. We got that sorted. Crusaders, they come in as underdogs, which is weird to say. It still feels weird to say it, and draw will sink us, or win sinks us, I think. But then does it? Because I think the team that I'm looking at in this top 8, the most concerned for at the moment, honestly, is probably the Rebels. Because they have got a few tough games to come. They have to play the Fijian draw in Fiji. Next week they are taking on this Brumbies side. And if they don't get any points from either of those contests, if the Crusaders somehow pull off 3 from 3, which it seems very unlikely. Very unlikely. But because it can still happen, I have to keep on mentioning it. I know people are getting annoyed about me saying it. RIP Sid going. Yeah, the news that the great All Black did pass away. Fergus Burke kicking this one off for the Crusaders. And this is do or die for their season. They need a win, and they need it soon. Could this game be the one that we finally say, oh, the Crusaders are back? Because we haven't really been able to say it too often. Only that game up against the Rebels. It's the only game that I feel like we felt like we were seeing the Crusaders of old. Lucky kick from Ravula. So yeah, 7-0 there. And who won the Fijian draw game? It was the Fijian draw in the end, winning it by 8. That one has not found touch. Nicely controlled to keep it in the field of play. Sever Reese now goes across to Johnny McNichol. They'll look to play a fast-paced game of rugby here. Fergus Burke kicking down the middle of the field. Of course, he's going to be heading to Saracens next season. And right, his clearances are massive. Hi, Hamish says, Brandon, welcome in. Greetings from South Africa. Says I Lollipop in there as well. It's 1 minute into the contest. We've already seen a bit of a kicking battle. I see pass back by Honerova. We'll be playing at 13 for this contest. I should also mention Hartveli back into the midfield combo. That's going to be overthrown by the Crusaders, but Noah Hotham manages to clean it up, breaking through here for the Crusaders. These kits are a little bit more similar than if the Crusaders had just worn their red kit. Offload, well controlled by Rova. Stepping from Johnny McNichol here. And everyone today, it just means we need to beat the Blues in Christchurch. Last game is Moana in Christchurch. Says Dwayne. Now back across here, quick rush defence there from Tamati Tua. He's been sensational throughout this season for the Brumbies. A real shining light in what is already a pretty strong lineup. Now Leo Willie hits the ball up again. Hotham looking to the short side off to David Hartveli. He's tackled high by Swain. Now Hotham sniping to the short side, gets the offload away to Sevu Reese. Joe Moody runs his way through, but they go across to Christian Leo Willie, trying to go through again. 6 phases in a row here for the Crusaders. We have seen them start games well before, but it's whether or not they can finish it. Great kick in behind from Reese, just finds touch. And 5 metres out from the line now, the Crusaders have the Brumbies under pressure. Andrew versus Landers to need an advantage for the home team. CS7 there for you. It's going to be an interesting game, and that is why that game for the draw was so important, that they got themselves to win this bigger game of the weekend. I think it's right up there. Blues Highlanders, I think a lot of people are also looking at as the possibility, but this is more the Brumbies want the top 4, the Crusaders want the top 8. Swain is the guy who busted Quintapai a knee. He's a dog, he is indeed. That one's going to be kicked in a touch by Noah Lorisio. Good kick downfield, and that is one thing, like I mentioned, not just Tom Wright, but the whole Brumbies side have done so well throughout their season is their clearances from inside of their 22. There's a big difference between kicking it down to about 25 out from your own line and having that extra maybe about 15 metres on top of that. Cody Taylor was just asking what the call was. He couldn't hear it. That one's not straight though from Cody Taylor. Throwing it into Cullen Grace. That's going to be a big mistake from Cody Taylor, the experienced veteran. Of course, George Bell going to be coming off the bench. He's had an impact and a half for this season. Both throws have gone to Cullen Grace. Neither of them have been good from Cody Taylor. One overthrown and the other was to his wrong side. But the Brumbies, they have not conceded a single penalty at scrum time throughout this season as of yet. They've won 92% of their scrums. They've also won 11 penalties along the way. Oh, and we got the scrum reset straight off the bat. We had quite a few of those in the Drua game up against the Reds. This is such an experienced front 3 in terms of the props. Like Connell McKinnery is probably the odd one out here. But you got Joe Moody versus Alana Alatoa, James Slipper versus Fletcher. All this is pretty much All Blacks going head-to-head here. And the Wallabies, of course. Bledisloe. Could see it happen in the future. With these 2 front rows go head-to-head. Now, ball goes in. That's a big push there. Crusaders steal it at scrum time. That is definitely leading from the front. Chipped in behind from David Hartveli. Wrong choice there. You got to get it through the hands. Wright calls the mark. I think they're taking too many risks here, the Crusaders. Sometimes you just got to run that ball. Blues versus Landers. The Landers lose. They will still be at top 7 or 8. Yeah, so they'll still have 7th if they do end up losing their game. Now another clearing kick. And once again, a very good one from the Brumbies. Gets them down to 40 metres out. But I really dislike that tactic from the Crusaders. You've got all the momentum because you've stolen the scrum, and then you decide to go for a little dink in behind, which has 2 men covering it. And you just lose 30 metres of possession. That's going to be a great run here for Super Reese, trying to link up on the outside. He's got enough pace to go himself there, Reese. Finishes the job. Try number 12 for Reese and the Crusaders. It doesn't cost them, and they will strike first at GIO Stadium. As underdogs as well, I should mention, the Crusaders in this game. That is a great start. Just a flat ball, what a scrum, yeah, leading from the front, like I mentioned, that front row. And massive fend there from Super Reese. He was never passing that. When he got that close, there was half a chance that he was thinking about going for the pass about here. Yeah, looked and then said, nah, I'm going myself. Hang on. They're going to have a look at the inside pass to see if it was forward. It was very flat from David Harvilli. That's an ugly fend from Super Reese as well, though. No try. Says Tony. Yeah, the ball was grounded, but they are checking for the forward pass, which I think you're probably going to see this one roll back. So it was Harvilli. We're about to see it here. Yeah, I'd say that's gone forward by a smidgen. So that is going to be no try, not number 12, for Super Reese. And drawer versus Reds 2023, 41-17 for the drawer versus the Reds 2024, 28-19. Says Southern Arthur. Yeah, the Fijian drawer have not lost to the Reds in Fiji, and the Fijians have not beaten the Reds in Queensland. So those two sides love home field advantage. No. Wait, are you sad that the Crusaders didn't score, Novmum? Did I just hear that correctly? We're talking about a Chiefs supporter there. I love it. Let's go the Brumbies in the tyranny. And forward pass says I lollipop. Looks like it's going to be this scrum. But yeah, the mistake made initially from David Harvilli to go for that chip in behind, and then he made the mistake of the forward pass. So, yeah, not ideal for David Harvilli. He hasn't been in the greatest form. I still think Razor will probably select him. I don't know where he's going to put him, though. 7 minutes in. Yes, the Crusaders win, then the Chiefs stay in third. Ah, okay. Okay, I understand. I never thought I'd see you support the Crusaders, Mum, to be honest, even though it meant that your side would be one more spot above. Like, I never thought I'd see the day. And home just in time, Kiwi lads, busy day at the office. How's the Crusaders doing? Well, they almost had a try, but it was disallowed for the forward pass. Now we're going to have another scrum reset, which is fun. Do love a scrum reset, 30 seconds to a minute, taken off each game. Every time we get one. Got to be good for you. James Slipper. I mean, he's here, like I mentioned, with Fletcher Null. He's a bit of an interesting one, Null. I think he'll be in the ABs, but I'm not sure. Because at tight head, I mean, Lomax is there, I believe. I think that... Who else will they have as that tight head, in fact, for the ABs? I think that... Probably got an argument for maybe George Dyer might be up there. That's going to be passed out wide from the Brumbies. That was very flat as well, but I think it's just travelled a little bit less flat than the Crusaders one. The Brumbies going off the right-hand side. Ryan Lonergan looking for the cross kick. As Noah Lolesio, he's got a bit of that, and it's actually gone quite high in that kick. Got caught in the breeze. Did end up seeing your sweet cameo? Not quite, no, but I did stay up till about 4:30 a.m. getting everything ready for today, so I should have had time at some point, but sadly... didn't quite. So it will be in between the Highlanders Blues game and the next one we're doing at 11:50. I'll have to have a quick look. Harvilli has always been inconsistent. That's come from a one-eyed Crusaders fan. Says Team Cabling. A scrum reset is almost as good as a free kick at scrum time, where the team gets to retreat, come back for a reset scrum. Says I Lollipop. What are the odds? There's Katzenau. I believe they'll be suspended at the moment. No, they're not. $3.40 underdog. The Crusaders are sitting. At the moment, where you're watching this at, it is on Sky Sport 1. For us here in New Zealand, or on Stan Sport if you are in Australia. Currently 7 metres out from the line here for the Brumbies. Jerome Brown. I'm going to go with a pop pass up. on the right-hand side to Nick Frost. So they just have to make sure they're onside here. That was something in the game up against the Highlanders that they really struggled with, staying onside 5 metres out from their own try line. And what is it one more time? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, says Tyler. Sky Sport 1 in New Zealand and Stan Sport in Australia. If you're in either of those two countries. If you're not, then it's a bit more tricky. It's going to be close to held up here for the Brumbies. The knee is down, so they have to release him. Now, Michael Allen was the one who had the ball. We're already 10 minutes in. Jerome Brown gets close. And already there's the penalty advantage in favour of the Brumbies for offside. Rob Bellatini's held up. And they'll go back for the penalty. 13 red offside. That is against Hone Rova, although I think there was also another one in there as well for offside. And we have got their haha from Defunk. Everyone looks like they're going to take a quick tap here, the Brumbies. Decided that that is the best option. Now looking for the touchline. Noah Lolesio has managed to put that ball out 5 metres from the line. Now, interesting that they didn't go with the scrum where they were on the field, just next to the post. Good position to be able to get a good drive going, but maybe backing their line out a little bit more. And Connell McInnery now to throw it in, taken by Swain. And they slowly start to march here, the Brumbies. This is looking good at the moment as the Crusaders are finding themselves wheeling around to the side, trying to straighten through. I have no idea where this ball is. I think they're looking for it there, and it's just come out the back door for Ryan Lonergan. Crusaders were close to offside. Now cross kick attempted again, and it's out to Muirhead, who will score the try. Their last scrum was crushed. That's true, but at the same time, I think they just didn't quite get it right at their last scrum. There's still a side that's won 92% of their scrums throughout the season. Just rewind, mate. This is not cable. Here's Gatson who won the draw in the rear, Tammy. In the end, the draw managed to win it by 8, but that is a picture-perfect drop. A cross kick. Muirhead had that much before he put his foot on the line here. We're going to see the replay. Yeah. He was close. He had to do the turn. FS down with the Crusaders. Here's Tony. And just staying in the field of play for Andy Muir there. Yeah, says Spinks. There's going to be a good answer from the Brumbies, though. They were close to conceding early. They rode out that early storm. Now they've got themselves the lead over the Crusaders. Big kick for Noel Alessio. Needs to make sure he's getting 100% accuracy throughout this game. Of course, cannot forget that game that they could have drawn in Christchurch if Noel Alessio had got that last kick over. I believe the game ended with only 2 points difference, as he did miss in the last moment. But that kick has gone over. 7 points to nil. Well, drew it, and just got back from the rugby. My God, it was cold and wet. Says pads ablaze. Yeah, nice cross kick. Using the wind to his advantage. I believe the wind is coming into him a little bit from that angle. I never understood why Arvelli was picked for the ABs. I never rated him. Says Junior Ryder. He's not consistent like someone said. That is not a consistent claim off the kickoff from the Brumbies. Andy Muirhead. Tackle well now. A little bit of a pick and go from Nick Frost. Makes an extra 5 or so metres, but it now means that the Brumbies are unable to kick this one out on the full. Instead, looks like they're going to use some more of their big forwards in Jerome Brown. And now Lonergan will send it to the sky. Gone high. Ow. That's going to be knocked on from Johnny McNichol. Brumbies running down the wing. Tom Wright breaks through. Right. If they're consistent, they'll check for the 4 pass there as well, because it was very flat. That last one that went to Tom Wright. But that could be the second try of the contest now for the Brumbies. Back-to-back tries. Putting the pressure on the Crusaders. Mistake from Johnny McNichol. When you talk about inconsistencies, you got to talk about that man. Where is it? This pass coming up. I think it was there. But this is the end-on angle. It looked all right from that one. Very close to the touchline again for Tom Wright, and she's halfback my pick to wear the silver fern. Agree with me, Amy. I think that Cortez Aratima's got a great chance. I'm making it into the ABs. I really pray the Crusaders win this one. Yeah, just breaking through the tackle attempt of Fergus Burke. They're just showing his feet right near the touchline and scored it. Must have been a fine pass because we didn't get the side-on angle, which annoys me because now it sounds like I'm just making things up. Club Rugby needs to get these refs, or get better refs. I mean, La La Land, please God, keep the Cantabs out of the finals, says Tony. And it's a pass was fine. Apparently, we didn't see it from side on, so I assume it was good. I know they're going to hold the ball on the tee now for McInerney. And Crusaders are not winning this. There's too much on the line for the Brumbies. I mean, there's quite a lot on the line for the Crusaders too, isn't there? But that one's going to miss from Noel Alicio, making the score now 12 points to 0. We're going to see it here from another angle. I feel like that looked back out of their hand, so it should be fine. I think it was just the camera angle that made it look slightly worse. Now it's going to be kicked off by the Crusaders. Seems like kickoffs are not easy to claim, although beautifully done there for Tom Wright. Now Lonergan, he'll look to send it high again. They know that Johnny McNichol's got butter on his fingers. And they've decided to go straight to him. This time he's managed to claim the ball. Passes back across here. Crusaders down by 12. Now this game is not about bonus points for the Crusaders. This is just about winning. What have I missed? 2 Brumbies tries, 1 disallowed for the Crusaders. At this stage of the contest, Blues brought all the way. There's Cedric. That's going to be not cleaned up nicely. And now Muirhead tries to break through. Knocked on by Brown. They'll go back for the penalty in favour of the Brumbies. Bloodbath incoming. Hard to say, really, to be honest. Like, it looks like it should be, but I still feel like we'll see a few tries from the Crusaders, if that makes sense, because they were close to scoring in the first moments of the game. You need a miracle, says Mana there. 17 and a half minutes in. They will kick for the corner again here, the Brumbies, rather than going for the 3 points. They want to keep on putting this Crusaders side under pressure. It's a decent kick downfield from Noel Alicio. You say hello to Olivia. Hello, Olivia. Now, line out throw for McInerney. And are they going to do it? Yes, they are. That one was well claimed by Nick Frost. Flat ball to Tamati Tua. Tackled by Tom Christie. He's putting it down at one-handed like Cullen. Says Annoy. Now nice run from Muirhead. What on earth is this? Says Ivan. If anything, this is a game that the Crusaders need to win. It will put pressure on the Force and the Waratahs. Now Valentini. 10 metres from the line. Lonergan. Going back across to the left-hand side. Quickly recycled. Tamati Tua. How come you want the Crusaders to win? Says Sphinx. Now counter-up coming from the Crusaders. That is their penalty as well. It's going to be offside against the Brumbies there. Against James Slipper, who's not happy about it. I think that was a great counter-up coming from Hone Rovan. What a game to have to come in and try and make an impact as well. Your first game back. Or your first game in a Crusaders kit, and they're like, hey, by the way, this is a must-win, and if we don't, we're probably going to get knocked out of the competition, so just make sure you play well. That's a good kick. Downfield from the Crusaders, my left hand. That's in the brace, doesn't fit into any pockets, so it was that cold, it was turning purple. Fun fact, I turn purple even when it's not cold. But that's from poor circulation. That happens for myself. In fact, I used to turn into a giraffe because I'd have like purple and then orange spots. Looks rather like a purple giraffe myself. It's going to be close. Oh, no, not quite. Brumbies losing their footing. Mudder, no one's hiding A. And Crusaders need to just get rid of the coach. I mean, we can blame the coach easily, right? But at the end of the day, this Crusaders side, there's a lot more going wrong than just a coach. You know, at the stage, like, just sacking the coach, maybe a new coach. The thing is, when they bring in a new coach, if they do, he's going to be at a better stage than Penny is, because Penny's had to go through the worst stage for them. That was close to forward. But now running forward out wide, it's going to be Che Fiak, you don't believe? So there is still hope for the 7-time Super Champs. And does Ben, okay, I prefer Cole Canberra to Hot Suva. Maybe he swap with Angus Gardner. Says Hanoi there. Osh, am I hiding from someone here? Are you? Who are you hiding from? I'll go back for the penalty. Those Crusaders players don't deserve to be in the All Blacks. Says Spider Mick. I mean, there's been some good individual players for the Crusaders. Like Reece scoring 11 tries single-handedly, I would say, is pretty impressive for a Crusaders player. I think Cullen Grace has had a pretty good season, so you could find him in that loose forward trio. Moody, Null, maybe one of those two props, because we saw how dominant Crusaders scrum was just before. Cody Taylor coming back from Japan might be worth a crack. This is like Darcy Swain has some serious strapping going onto his foot at the moment, and Johnny McNichol just getting a bit of medical attention as well. It's about to be the line-out throw here, though, for the Crusaders. We do see here off the bench, Macca Springer, Reyes, Rehana and Drummond will be the back replacements with Jamie Hanna and Don Gardner as those loose forwards. George Bell, I think he's going to be one to watch out for. Cody Taylor throws it in. That is much better from the Crusaders. Looping around. Here comes Taylor. Pops it short to Rover. Now there's going to be the penalty advantage in favour of the Crusaders. Well stolen by Muir. Great hands from him to be able to get it back. Brumbies is the only team that hasn't played a game in Fiji. Says Junior Ryder. I did not know that. That's a bit of a fun fact, isn't it? I think next week they're going to be playing the Rebels. And yeah, they don't actually play in Fiji again this season, it would seem. Scrum is called by the Crusaders. They're about, I'd say, 10 metres out from the line here. And also, they did it at Latoka. Oh, well then that might be wrong then. Vito Scott's all good to say a new coach. Give us another option. Says Mana Black. That's a fair point. Yeah, who's the next coach that you chuck to the Wolves at the Crusaders? Because, like I said, like Penny's gone through the worst of it. Because there was always going to be a massive drop-off when you lose 12 Crusaders who were All Blacks. You've lost Moonga, Whainā Nuku, Goodhue, Enor. Well, I think Enor's still there, isn't he? He's just injured at the moment. Will Jordan, he's injured. They didn't have Ethan Blackadder due to injury. They didn't have Cody Taylor due to him playing in Japan. They didn't have Tamaiti Williams due to injury. No Barrett due to injury. The list goes on. And they pretty much just had good luck. See how you go. Going off to the left-hand side. Penalty advantage in favour of the Crusaders. That's an ugly high tackle there. I think that it's an advantage. Although Ben O'Keefe, yep, he has got the advantage there. He doesn't look too flash. Just slowly getting back to his feet there. Hone Rover. Might be a yellow card coming for the Brumbies. And another advantage. No, they've just added that advantage for the high tackle. I'm surprised that it took that long for them to realise that it was high. There's Fletcher. No. Very close. Just short. And they'll go back for another penalty. Time is off. They're going to check this one for the severity of it because I'm an All Black supporter. Says Cedric Vunivalu himself. He's basically punished every team from 9th round. Says Hanoi. I don't know, maybe Justin Marshall as coach. If no, I mean, Justin Marshall, I don't think he'll want to coach. He'll be happy enough doing the commentary. But yeah, that was a pretty bad one from Tom Wright. Just wrong-footed and boom, round the neck. Oh no, it's Tamati Tua, in fact, my apologies. As Tamaiti Williams playing, he is not no. Right. Off-field review there for Tamati Tua. They will now be playing with only the 14 men on the field. I reckon will be next in line, Ruben Thorne for the Crusaders job. Could be. I'd love to see Brad Thorne go there. Is he still at the... I don't think he's still at the Reds. Where'd Brad Thorne end up? And lucky not Darcy Swain. Says Hanoi. And the clothesline, yeah, it's kind of like the old school Rugby 08, how you click a certain button so you can smash them high. And now Crusaders will go for the scrum again. Who else is in the Crusaders? Says King. So in the front row, they've got Joe Moody, Cody Taylor, and Fletcher Null off the bench. They have got George Bell, George Bauer and Seb Calder as the other option. The Brumbies have been under immense pressure at scrum time here, and they will also have one less man in that back line to be able to defend, unless they've packed down with 7 men. Just trying to work out who that was on the screen there. That was Lena Cattell. Okay, so they've still got the 8 at scrum time. Ball has gone in. Massive push again from the Crusaders. They've got the advantage. Hotham goes out wide. Fingertip there for Satsford. And they'll go back again. Not staying straight at the scrum, actually. From what they should do is bring Richie as coach. They would ring him up by the ears. Or he would ring them up by the ears. Says Avito Skux. I don't think he'd want to ruin his legacy, Richie McCaw, by taking on a Crusaders. Like I mentioned, no one wants that job that Penny took. Like, yes, on paper you go, yeah, I want a side that's won a heap of titles. But then you realise if they don't win the titles, you're the one who gets all the blame. No matter what happens with signings, no matter what happens with transfers, injuries, people always say straight away, the coach is the problem, even if it wasn't the case. So, yeah, no one wanted it. Who got Simbin for the Brumbies? It was Tamati Tua. World Cup 2011 game. I used to see how many reds I could get. Says Pads Ablaze. Brumbies scrum stats mean nothing. Says Lollipop. Yeah, they're very good when they have their own feed. Not so good when it's the opposition feeding the ball. And Noah Hotham again here. Well set. Ball goes in. They try and hold steady. The Crusaders are dominant at scrum time. At that time, they didn't have the penalty advantage. Now passed on the outside. Hotham's knocked it on. And the Brumbies survive. Looks like there's an injury now for Nick Frost, maybe. Oh no, he's ended up with a ball, and Darcy Swain was giving him a bit of a hug on the ground. Cody Taylor was just asking whether or not that was close to a scrum penalty as well, but Ben O'Keefe says that they held strong for long enough there. Oh, is that head-on-head contact between Hotham and Ryan Lonergan there? Maybe not. Survived, keyword, says King. TKL for life, says James Martin. Also speaking of things for life, KFC has been advertised so many times throughout this competition, but at halftime in the New Zealand games, they do a bit of catch the kernel, which means you can get yourself $500 worth of KFC, which is crazy. Although it wouldn't take that long to spend $500 at KFC. You'd need a lot of friends, though, and a very big bucket. Do you think Tamati Tua could be an All Black? I mean, he's had a very good season, to be fair. Like, I don't know whether or not Razor will be looking at him because he's playing overseas, so it makes it a little bit trickier. But it's no different playing overseas in Australia than it is playing in Japan in terms of, you know, options. In fact, you're probably more eligible if you're playing in Super Rugby, I would think. $500 worth, not bad. And you need KFC when you're packing down on the front row, says James Martin. You certainly do. I think $500 worth of KFC would feed a whole rugby team. 23 players. Oh, well and truly. Hamish, how did you get an interview with Norm Maxwell? He was a viewer on the channel, believe it or not. Like, he came into one of the streams and said, hello, how are you? Pretty much talking about either the Crusaders or the All Blacks. And then he said, I'm actually an ex-All Black myself. And I said, oh, yeah? And normally when people say that, you kind of think, nah, you're just lying. But then he was like, nah, my name's like what it was on his YouTube. And I looked it up and I was like, yep, that checks out. And then, Kitao got a little bit cleaned up there from Hotham, who was trying to charge it down. They'll be 10 metres out from the line, chance for the Crusaders. But yeah, since then we've chatted quite a bit. We chatted throughout their World Cup and Rugby Championship. We've had him on about maybe 5 times, I would say, on the channel, something along those lines, on different streams throughout the years. Gives some very good insight. Oh, Maxi. Now, old Tom Christie going short side. That's a risk with not much reward coming there for them, for Hotham. Going to be an advantage against Darcy Swain for being offside. They have to release him. Christian Leo Willie, the one who was taken down. Here comes Joe Moody. Couple metres out from the line. Hotham. Quick hands from Harvelli. Drop ball from Burke. There's just that little error at the moment from the Crusaders coming every time. I like to make my joke about KC. This one, but it's one that gets you in prison, says Lollipop. And so far, you got Nick White, Maxwell, 13 more for a full team. Well, we didn't actually get a Nick White interview. We got a reply from Nick White, which pretty much said he wasn't allowed to do an interview because they have certain like broadcasters and news outlets that they have to go through rather than just randoms on YouTube. So, yeah, we got a reply, but we didn't get any sort of interview going. When you order KFC, do you ask for no wings like I do? No, but that's probably strategic. George asks for chicken thighs. Like, he'll go specifically, I want chicken thighs. But he buys them, like, separate, like, as in, like, separate chicken rather than, like, in a pack. I love a drumstick, though. That's probably my favourite piece. Cody Taylor off the back. He's close. But he doesn't get it down. Now around the side, the Brumbies. I think they've got themselves the turnover there. No, Crusaders take it straight back. And now out wide. One more. Johnny McNichol will run it in for the Crusaders. And they are now back into the contest. Commentary Connacht Stormers game, Hemi. We are indeed. Even though it's at like 4:05 a.m. New Zealand time, we are going to be done. Yep, thighs and ribs are the biggest, lol. Says Hanoi. Yeah, although a chicken thigh, like, I'll be honest, I find it tricky to eat a chicken thigh normally because there are a lot of bits in terms of the bones and whatnot that you don't actually get to eat. George, he's a farm boy. He'll literally, like, if you gave him a piece of chicken, he'll eat everything but the bone. I'm talking the cartilage, the skin, the coating, of course, but every piece that he can get off that, he will gnaw on it until it's gone. Except for the bone. He can't quite get through those yet. Doesn't quite have the ability of a dog. And yes, well done, Crusaders, says John. But yeah, they're back into this contest. Now, like I mentioned, it's not so much about getting a bonus point win here for the Crusaders. It's about just getting a win. Yes, a bonus point would help. Does George eat your bones after you're done? He does not. No, we're not at that stage of our friendship. But tell you what, if we were, I'd be slightly concerned overall. And now Fergus Burke. And he's got it over. Making the score now 12 points to 7. That'll frustrate the Brumbies because, of course, they were one man down, which gives them a bit more of a chance, or gave the Crusaders a bit more of a chance to get into it. What was that? Stays at a yellow card. That's what they've just said. Yeah, we can tell he's the eater, says Robert. He's just a big, strong farm boy, isn't he? Drives a tractor. I do not drive tractors. I don't think I trust myself in a tractor. I love to drive a forklift, but I feel like I'd do it the wrong way and then end up, like, impaling something. How much have you tried Taco Bell, and is it nice? I have not, so I'm not sure, but I think it gets good wraps over here. There's one down south. I think there's also one up north. Chicken thighs, I ate it once. Mum baked it in the oven, a bit chili, honey, onion, black pepper, yum. Says Spider Mick. But yeah, I'm impartial to a drumstick, or partial to a drumstick. I think I'm partial to one. It's the right, I like them. Now, kick towards the touchline. That's gone out. Now the Brumbies about 30 metres out from the line will have themselves the line out. Moana Pacifica can beat the Crusaders. Well, I mean, they almost beat the Hurricanes, so, you know, you don't like bones in your chicken. You would have loved the landmine chicken we got in the military, says Lollipop. Well, I mean, I don't mind bones in the chicken, but I don't eat the bone. You know, just because that seems like hard work, doesn't it? I don't have the patience that dogs do, how they just bury it somewhere in their backyard and go, you know what, I'll have that later. You know, I want my chicken and I want it now is the mindset I go into it with. Now David Harville passes on the outside. Rover goes to Sever Reese. Ball on the inside. Back to Reese from Rover. They're just passing amongst themselves at the moment. It sounds like I'm doing a Nova ad. But now Fergus Burke. Taken down. Hotham. Looking for his next pass. Goes to Christian Leowitty. Gets, probably about 5 metres there. Now back across. Rover from Nova. Goes on the outside to Quentin Strange. Hotham again here. Goes to the left-hand side. Fergus Burke. Crossed to Newell. Short ball from Havili. Live in the South Island. Went to Wellington for 3 days and saw about 30 different people wearing Super Rugby jerseys and only one being a Hurricanes jersey. Says Sphinx. It's quite impressive, isn't it? Now quick hands. McNichol. Bounce pass. It was forward. So it's going to be another scrum feed for the Brumbies. Sides can be messy veins and weird bits. Says Annoy. Yeah, I feel like drumsticks for me just seem easy, you know. You bite into it. You stop at the bone because teeth ain't made for that. Stop there. And then, you know, you don't get a lot of meat though. So it's not good bang for your buck. And my buddy says the Popeyes has a 2-hour wait in New Zealand. That would suck. You definitely want to do it on Uber Eats or something if they have that set up or delivery. Yeah, the Crusaders scored a try. Says King. Wednesday, Hamish, and what you having? Well, I had breakfast about four hours ago, and it was just an up and go. So I'm a bit peckish. So all this talk of food, of course, is getting the stomach going. But I'm not sure what I'll have. I'll have something small in between. So maybe like a little handful of peanuts or something. And then I'll hopefully get tea after the 9 game. Or like 9 p.m. Oh, another penalty at scrum time. For the Crusaders, wicked wings are tiny, but they bring the flavour, says Sphinx. See, I find wicked wings spicy, and I feel like that just shows how low of a spice tolerance I have. I don't eat the thigh bones, I eat flesh, says Spider Mech. Yeah, big push, huge pressure from Fletcher Null on James Slipper. That one's kicked dead. My jeez, the Crusaders just keep on making the errors. That time, I think it was Fergus Burke looking for the corner. They needed to probably take the 3 there, I would say. What happened to Jamie Joseph? He left. I don't know where he's ended up now, Jamie Joseph. 6 minutes left in this game. The big question that they have, though, for the Brumbies is if they are getting dominated at scrum time, what do you do? Because they've got 2 guys who are supposed to be your best scrummagers out there on the field at the moment. Like, do you bring on Fun Nick or do you go with Kautai? Maybe it's still going to be tricky. Japan, maybe. I thought he had a role at the Highlanders. Oh, you might be right there, Ed. Oh, Jamie Joseph. Yeah, you might be onto something there. Our ball about to be fed in. By Lonergan, Eddie Jones joined the Japan, and Jamie Joseph is director of Highlanders Rugby. Says Mana Black. This one's going to be another scrum reset in favour of the Brumbies. They're asking for the quick reset though. They're not a coach though. Okay. Scrums lost at the moment. Crusaders have not lost their own. Brumbies have had 2 scrums that they have lost from their own feed. Well, we go like this. And I like that as well. Can the Brumbies get this one in and out? Now Satsford. Some strapping on that leg. Haven't seen a huge amount of him throughout this game, Ollie Satsford, as of yet. Who do you think will be the next coach of the Fijian Roar? Not actually too sure who they'll go with next. So they've got some options. But, yeah, it's just whoever wants that role, really, isn't it? Valentini breaking off the back. That is a much better scrum. Now Ryan Lonergan been told to use it in 5. The scrums are a mess. Brumbies under pressure. Can they turn it around? It's going to be tricky too. Satsford is from Ashburton. That's where some people say is the best KFC. Now nicely taken by Chaifiahi, who's got the ball. The Crusaders currently do after the kick from Ryan Lonergan was downfield. Cody Taylor trying to step around. Tamati Tua will have to be on his best behaviour throughout the rest of this contest, and he's just given away a penalty for not rolling away. Or at least the advantage. Now Johnny McNichol tries the chip in behind, waits for the bounce of the ball, gets it beautifully, gets it away to Reese, who has a runner with him, or in fact it's Nova. No, sorry, it's Rover. I couldn't remember his name. I knew that it rhymed with something. Now counter ruck coming. Muirhead takes it away though, and the Brumbies get the ball back. C. Joseph's daughter played halfback for the Ferns recently, good player. Says Naz Williams, they've been told to use it. Lonergan now will be looking for the touchline, but this territory game has gone all Crusaders' way. Well controlled by Burke at the back. Passes across to Chaifiaki. goes back across to Burke. He's had a bit of a mixed game so far. A lot of people will be watching this contest from Saracens, wondering what there is to expect from him. They wouldn't have been impressed as of yet. Pass there, knock on from Quinton Strange. And now the Brumbies have the counter-attacking chance here. Noel Alessio, oh, massive shot there. Frost kicks it downfield, sits up for Tom Wright, and he will score another one down the wing. A bit of luck for the Brumbies in terms of the bounce of the ball. They've gone from pretty much having nothing in terms of possession, in terms of territory, and they are the side that cross the try line. Sometimes you just have to take your chances. You reckon down under rugby, going under slowly? I wouldn't say that. I think Super Rugby, in terms of Sky numbers, they've been at the highest they've ever been, or the highest of recent times anyway. Christian Leo, whether the Crusaders number 8 possibly could make it into the All Blacks. Have you tried Kena? I have not, no. And Crusaders are like the All Blacks 2022 season. So yeah, Mr. Bravestone. You think maybe they should bring in Ian Foster as their coach? Yeah, Tom Wright gets the bounce of the ball, and then Tom Wright finishes the job. A big smile on his face, slams it down with one hand like he's back in the NRL. And the Brumbies take the lead. And like I mentioned, that'll be frustrating for the Crusaders because they've had everything. Talking position, territory, time with the ball in the 22. Oh, no, Alessio missing that one again. So that'll be 10 points difference, 17 points to 7. Just a little bit more time remaining. 40 seconds left of the half. And Ian Foster's in Japan with Steve Hansen. Says Ed Smith. 30 seconds left now of the half. Kicked off by Fergus Burke. Just travelling the 10 metres. Cullen Grace, good power shown by him to slap it back onto the side of the Crusaders. So they will continue having ball in hand for the rest of this half. Great work from Fletcher Null to keep the ball alive for the Crusaders. Moody tackled up by Alan Alatoa. If there's a knock on or anything here from the Crusaders, it will be halftime. There is the siren. Good low tackle made on Havili. That's in through the side from McInnery. He's done well to not get penalised for it. There's a knock on there, I believe, or did it go backwards now? The Brumbies, they will look to run this by the looks of it. Tom Wright taking a little bit of a risk here. And now Lonergan. They're going to fire it back into the pocket. Noel Alessio. What's that? That's stupid. What's Burke doing? He put it in. What the? That was a strange little play there at the end, ladies and gentlemen. Try disallowed. No, the only try so far that's been disallowed was the Crusaders. The scoreboard doesn't want to give them it though. But yeah, Noel Alessio looking for a 50-22 after the halftime siren. Fergus Burke tries to take a mark after the halftime siren and then just boots it into touch and says, okay, we're halftime now. But 10 points difference between these two sides. Really strange into the half. They're not putting pickles on the sandwiches. They're putting cucumbers on it. That's different in the USA. Is that the score, says King? It is not, no. 17 points to 7 is the score. They don't want to give the try to the Brumbies. For some reason. Lured by money, says Spider Mick. But yeah, really weird end to the half. I think both young players just had no idea what they were supposed to be doing. Fumbled that ball one day on the put down like Cullen used to, like Rico Ioane did in that game. 17 points to 5. 17-7 is the correct score. What's your favourite food? I mean, I don't mind a bit of chicken every once in a while. Pizza's all right. You know, a lot of people say pizza's their favourite. Like, I love a good chicken tender, I would say. Should have called the scrum when he took the mark. Well, that's the thing. I think he just had a bit of a brain fade in terms of what he was supposed to actually do in that moment. I know it shouldn't. But watching the Crusaders lose makes me so happy, says Tony there. And yeah, they are losing by 10 at the moment. Brumbies have had less possession, less territory, and less time inside of the opposition 22, but they've only needed those 3 runs in, and they've got 3 tries. That's a lot of sheep on that ad. I like milkshakes. Do your milkshakes bring all the boys to the... never mind. Yeah, first half, a bit of a strange one, but the Crusaders are down. They are not out yet. 10 points difference. I'm sure Noah Lalicio would have loved to get more than one kick over. I think that's probably the thing that's hurt them a little bit here. But Distracted Sports saying, I love it too, says Mana Black. So the way that it currently sits, ladies and gentlemen, on the overall table, the way that it's sitting, the Brumbies would move up into third. And they would be on 43 points, so they would still be behind the Blues as well as the Hurricanes. And then, on the other side of things, the Crusaders would stay on 14 points. Now, if they were within 7, they would actually advance up to 9th. But there would still be a substantial gap between them and the the Fijian Roar, total of 6 points difference. The Force play the Waratahs later on tonight. We are not covering that game, as that is when we're going to have food. And probably the only time we'll get to have food, actually, throughout the live streams, now that I think about it. And then also, we've got the 3 games of the URC taking place later on tonight. 11:50 is going to be the first one. Then alongside that, we have got a few more games that we are covering on the channel. A lot of excitement coming just around the corner. But anyone who is new, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated. You all being here for these matchups. Halftime break, normally about 12 to 13 minutes in Super Rugby, somewhere around there. Please take off Hotham. He is useless. I mean, I think he's had a couple fumbles, but to be fair, like Hartvelli's looked worse than Hotham, I feel, throughout this game. Fergus Burke, I think, has looked pretty shocking. So probably worse than Hotham as well. Rover hasn't been too flash. Johnny McNichol's been a bit 50-50. He scored a try, but that was because it was a run-in. Reese has looked good, but other than that, like, we've hardly seen Fiaki, so I don't think it can just be Hotham's fault. I think that they've had their chances. They've been inside of the right territory on the field. It's just that last pass hasn't quite worked. The amount of coverage you provide is nuts. It is a bit. Like, the weird part is, right, we did 2 streams last night, and then I look at the schedule and I go, right, we've got 6 games tomorrow. And, like, 6 games is a lot. But when you really think about it, that's 12 hours of talking after you've just done 4 hours of talking the night before. So, like, my voice is not going to exist, I think, by the time I'm 30, but that's all right. I have to learn sign language. Reese always carrying the Crusaders, says Stephen Heatley. How many games the Blues Canes dropped each Hemi? So far, we've seen the Blues lose 1. The only game that they lost was actually up against the Hurricanes. And the Hurricanes have lost 2. They lost to the Brumbies as well as the Blues in a 3-week period. So it wasn't the best patch for them in that moment. Any Chiefs fan says, King, I'm sure there'll be a few. If you made a local hot dog or chicken food truck in your town, would you make much cash? It depends, because there's one place to get chicken and hot dogs and whatnot in town. It's like a dairy. But, like, at times it's not great, if that makes sense. Like, at times it's good, you know, decent chicken at times. And, like, you can always normally get a hot dog. But in terms of, like, if there was another one with better stuff, I feel like it would actually do kind of well. And why Hurricanes in front, if they've lost the 2, says Spider-Mick, because they played an extra game, is the reason that they're in the lead. They beat Moana Pacifica last night. The Blues have not played their extra game, as they are going head-to-head with the Highlanders. That is actually the 7:05 kickoff time, ladies and gents, which is not too far away. Looking through at the benches, the Brumbies, they've got Boron, also Funnick and Koltai. So I'm not sure what they're going to do at scrum time, because that is where I think this game is going to be possibly costing for the Brumbies. They can't get that scrum right. They're going to be under a lot of pressure. Tom Hooper, Luke Raymer is going to be there as 19 and 20. Harrison Goddard, Jack Debrink, Zini, and Ben O'Donnell there at number 23. Then for the Crusaders, they've got George Bauer, as well as Seb Calder as the front row replacements. Jamie Hanna and Dom Gardner can both play lock, but more than likely, one will be in the lock, one will be in the loose forward trio. Drummond, Rehana, and Macca Springer. Not a lot of experience in terms of that 22-23, but Drummond may be able to add a bit more stability to the way that the Crusaders are playing. near the end. Let's get you a broadcast gig. Says Distracted Sports. Maybe. And also we have Gadea Hamish. Make the Canes losers the next 3 weeks. Says Mana Black. And if 4 stars was top of the table, would you cover it? Says Hanoi. Probably not. if I'm being completely honest, probably not. Because if we're already doing 6 games, like 7 games will just be a bit too much. And like that's the thing. The reasoning behind covering certain games is not like sometimes we'll cover a game that I honestly know no one will really want to watch. But we still cover it because, you know, in terms of the interest of how the sides match up and everything like that also goes into it. Like the Fijian draw versus the Reds, like that game, a lot of people wouldn't have been watching it because it's the early afternoon game, and we knew that, but we still did it anyway because we wanted to see how that game would go with the Fijian draw at home. But yeah, like Force versus Waratahs, don't get me wrong, like at this stage of the competition, it does seem like it's a little bit less of an important game, but we still, if it interested us enough to cover all 6 of the games this weekend, we probably would have, if that makes sense. But because we got the 3 games afterwards, that makes it very tricky to cover 7 games in a row with no breaks. Or if we get a break, it's like a 15-minute one, so I don't actually get to make anything substantial. Putting a hot dog stand next to an airport would be better, says Robert. I love every game, hot or cold, says Spider Mech. And that's the thing, like that game, I'll still be watching it. I'll probably be editing while watching it, so like alongside making something to have for tea. And Crusaders need a new coach for next season, says Stuart Moore. So who would you give them, Stuart? Who's your next coach for the Crusaders on what has been a bit of a sinking ship for this year? Who are you throwing in the deep end to see if they can swim? And Canes will lose next week, Hamish. We're waiting for them. Dude, you cover South Africa club games that Forever Sport don't cover. Good on you. Says Doctor, you're so funny, I can't imagine you speechless. Although, I once got a comment on a podcast, and it was an interesting one, but pretty much the comment said that not many people can entertain people while not talking, but apparently my facial expressions entertained someone while I wasn't talking on the podcast. While Tim was talking, I was making faces, and they liked it. So I guess, like, I'll just have to tell you the game with my eyes. I'll just be sitting here like, and then you'll be like, oh, yeah, scrum feed for someone. And we'll just have like a system. I'll have a whiteboard popping up and it'll be like eyebrow raise means try. So I'll just sit here like this when someone's scoring. A wink. I'm not sure if I want to just wink while sitting in silence on a stream. That would be a bit weird, wouldn't it? But wink could be a yellow card. One eye is yellow, the other eye is red. I can still clap. I just sit here like, I look like a seal. Is it seal that clap? I think it is. Yeah, they put the ball on their nose too, don't they? You know, after you play golf. You know, after you play golf. Says Robert. And also hot dog stand next to an airport, says King, and not sure Hamish. That's the tricky part. Everyone says sack the coach, get a new coach, but no one knows who they'd actually want as the new coach for the Crusaders. Like, there'll be people who say, get Razor back. Give him a Super Rugby coaching gig as well as the All Blacks. But, yeah, it'll be interesting. See how it does end up going. Currently 10-point lead for the Brumbies in this contest. In terms of the betting odds, ladies and gentlemen, Crusaders are $7 underdogs. In this match, Razor loses the Bledisloe and gets the sack, says Reflecting Trees. And that's the other side of things. Like, what happens if Razor doesn't win the Bledisloe, if Razor doesn't win his test matches? Are people going to say sack him like they said Foster? Put a mirror behind you? That would just get me copyrighted and taken off YouTube. I'd get a 3-month break from talking. That would be fun, wouldn't it? But, yeah, stats department, territory, possession, both in favour of the Crusaders, but the points are heavily in favour of the Brumbies. Ruben Fawn is coaching the under-20s. Maybe bring him in, coach Crusaders, says Stuart Moore. I mean, it's an option, but then at the same time, with the overlapping seasons, who are you going to have as the under-20s coach? We've got to think who's going to be the replacement on that side of things if he does go. If they gave me $1 every time I saw an ad for a Ford Ranger and every time that they showed a KFC ad, I would have a lot of money and enough to probably buy a Ford Ranger as well as some KFC. Crusaders $7 underdogs. Says King, insulting the commentary. Kiwi lad says Salaheen, welcome in, mate. I heard Stuart Hogg is returning. Says Mr. Bravestone. I did not know that. I knew that there was a bit of stuff going on off the field for him. Are they running out of attacking options? Not really. They're just missing that last pass. Dawn sucks ass. Like when he was an All Blacks captain, says Doctor. But yeah, it's just more of the case of like second half, if they can get that last pass right. That's the big one. Hey, I got a Ford Ranger, says Robert. Did you buy it because you saw an ad for it, Robert, or was it just the truck that you wanted? I heard that the great Sid passed him, age 80. Yeah, I did hear that. Sid passing away. And Brumbies win here, and the Crusaders are all but out of the playoffs unless the visitors can actually come out firing in the second half. And, like, don't get me wrong, they can. That's the interesting part. Like, the Crusaders are a strong enough side that they can come out in the second half and make an impact. That's for work to throw tools in, says Robert. But they need it to go well early. They need the first try in the first 10 minutes of the second half. That is the ruling from myself. If they can do that, they're in with half a shot. I'm actually going to go back here. I'm just going to look at that pass that I was talking about from the Brumbies. I don't think it was Ford. I just want to check to make sure that it wasn't. Right, I'm going to quickly see it here. Okay, the angle doesn't really show too much. But I would say it was flat, but I think it was all right. I think it was back out of the hands of Satsford for that second try. Tom Wright already got himself 2 in this contest. He's had to show off his pace down the wing both times. Has been able to score them. The other try coming for the Brumbies was scored by Andy Muirhead. So both wingers doing very well throughout this game. For the Crusaders, Johnny McNichol, the lone try scorer. Reese almost scored his 12th of the season, but it was disallowed. Another KFC ad, that would be $1 for me if I had some sort of deal going with them. What do you think about the box this year against the Wallabies and the All Blacks? Well, it's hard to say because I don't really know what the box coaches are going to do in terms of their selections. Joe Moody's still out there on the field. Like, I think they'll be competitive games, hopefully. They go down to the wire. Like, I love a close game. Crusaders looking straight into the sun this time for the half. And the Brumbies now are making their way on to the field. Last 40 minutes. And like they've just said, the Crusaders are playing for their season. The Crusaders probably have a bit more on the line. But then at the same time, you could say the Brumbies have quite a bit on the line here because they need to win this game to get back to third place on the overall standings. It's anyone's game, says Spider-Mick. It certainly is. Like I mentioned, Crusaders came in as $7 underdogs at the moment. Is that going to change? That's the question. It's anyone's game, says Spider-Mick. Now, whistle has been blown. And Noah Lolesio will kick us off for the second half. Nicely taken there. The Crusaders. Back across to the right-hand side here. And behind, David Arvili trying to find a gap in the defence. And Brumbies' discipline needs to be on point here because if they're already getting warnings for their scrum, they cannot afford to then give away other penalties as well. And the All Blacks are on 7-game winning streak against the Wallabies. So here's Mr. Bravestone. Hotham had to use it. Took a little bit longer than the referee wanted. That has taken him out in the air from Chifiaki. Now Lonergan. That's going to be a loose ball. Close to a knock on from Slipper, and the turnover is good for the Crusaders. Now in behind. Johnny McNichol goes away to Tom Christie into the shade. There goes Severeese down the wing. Tries to grub him on. Once again, wrong option from the Crusaders. Every time that they've tried that, they've given the possession straight back to the Brumbies, who then get to put together a few phases. Len Ikatel, that's the first time I've had to say that man's name. So if they had early scrum dominance, maybe they should play more games and keep the territory straight from the scrum, says King. Yeah, although you want to keep on getting those penalty advantages if you can. Down towards the halfway line, Johnny McNichol almost missing that ball. Does line it up now, chance again to go out wide. Sever Reese tackled on the halfway line, offloads it back to McNichol. Fergus Burke, one more pass to Rover. Going towards the touchline, and Wright has plenty of time to set up Noel Alessio as close to a forward pass. And great kick. That is a good one from Noel Alessio. And that's once again what I mentioned in the first half. Playing territory with the Brumbies is like saying, can you please put us in our own half to have another attack from? You just want to make sure that you're not giving them the freedom of taking their time. Maybe they should play more scrums, I mean. Yeah, they could do. I mean, they've played quite a few of them throughout this game already. Any opportunity that they've had, they've really gone for that scrum. That's going to be dropped and not straight from the Crusaders. A combo deal, or no, in fact, it's just a knock-on. Crusaders had a better line-out when Razor was the coach. There's Mr. Bravestone. They also had better options at line-out time. They had Whitelock. They had Barrett. At the moment, they've got Shelthune and Strange. So, a bit of a difference there between your options. There's a bit of wind around at the moment. They're showing the gum trees in the background, swaying in the breeze. Crusaders conceding the scrum here. Now a chance for the Brumbies. And come on, Saders, stop the BS and finish this game. 50 points to the Saders, says Doctor. Now, penalty again for the Crusaders at scrum time. Just every time at the moment, every scrum, the Crusaders are getting themselves that penalty. I think that time it was Connell McInerney had the knee down. Right, Fergus Burke, if he misses touch here, that would be very frustrating for the Crusaders. Oh, he almost didn't get it out. In fact, I think that Andy Muir will be very disappointed with that, as he had the opportunity to be able to keep that ball in the field of play. But Burke, he's kicked for the corner, he's missed it, he's knocked the ball on. The thing that he's done right is get a kick over, which is a big bonus, but yeah, definitely needs to get this one right here for the Crusaders when it comes to their backline. Going to the front to Cullen Grace. Nicely claimed by the Crusaders. Christie offloads back to Cody Taylor. In the midfield at the moment, Rover has been tackled. Reese with a pick and go round the breakdown. What a try. Who was that? I think that was Alan Alalatal was looking towards the sideline, and Reese just snipes round and scores the try. Crusaders back into the contest. We're going to see it here. Alan Alalatal looking the wrong way. Little half second he went like that to check who was on his outside, and Reese went through and scores it for the Crusaders. Hoping for the Crusaders to win, says Ski. A great finish from Sever Reese. Crusaders now back into this contest. They've got a kick straight in front of the posts. A kick from the scrum means the fullback has one kick, and when the wings coverage, then hold the line with the aggressive kick and chase to secure territory. CS game, but now making the score 14 points to 7. I said that the Crusaders needed to score within the 10 minutes, but yeah, massive mistake from Alan Alatoa. Missed tackle from Ryan Lonergan as well. And yes, hopefully Crusaders. Says John, okay, here we go, Crusaders. Says Mr. Bravestone, but Sever Reese still that shining light of the Crusaders side, up to 12 tries now for his season. He is 3 ahead of Hoskins Atutu, 4 ahead of Imoni Narawa. Kicked off high. And not taken cleanly by the Crusaders. Tell you what, kickoff resets for sides so far from New Zealand teams this weekend have been shocking. Overall, that one's gone through their hands, but now a chance for the Brumbies on their 22. Oh, that's going to be knocked on by Tom Wright. And a pretty lucky one as well. As if they hadn't got that ball, could have been danger. That's a play I just came up with. Says King. Right, disappointed. He was looking for his hat trick there. They're just talking to Penny at the moment. Okay, pretty much said that it's nice to get the try on the board to settle into their work here for the Crusaders. The ball now is fed in. Big scrum push there from the Crusaders again. They have got the penalty advantage. Little chip of mine from David Harvey. I wish he would stop doing that because all it's doing is giving the ball away. Double blow the whistle, right? This sounds like it's going to be the last warning now for the Brumbies because that is about the 4th penalty against them at scrum time. Okay. Alan Alatoa gets the clear message from Ben O'Keefe, which is pretty much if your James Slipper Lucia prop keeps on collapsing, he will end up with a yellow card. Because he said that the ones beforehand he was relatively happy with in terms of the penalties. They were for different things. But the last 2 penalties in a row have been against James Slipper for collapsing under the pressure of Fletcher Null. Now 45 metres out. Cody Taylor is not at the best day when it comes to line-out throws, so probably starting to feel a bit of the pressure. That is somewhat to do with Cadron Neville and Darcy Swain, their ability to steal a ball just like that. Although that one's going to be play on by the looks of it. And it's back on the side of the Crusaders. Only time I'll go for the Crusaders, says Kano. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people back in the Crusaders for one of the first times ever in this game, it would seem, because they want to see their side stay a little bit higher. And back into it thanks to Severie. Stuck a bow. Says King. Now going for the kick up high. Chasing after this one. It looks like Che Fiaki. Beautiful take from him. Looking for his next pass. But Havili was right on him like he was his shadow. So wasn't able to get that next pass. Hotham now slings it in behind. Burke goes across to Cody Taylor. They're up to the 22 now. McInerney wanted the turnover. Hotham picks it up. There was a knock on though in the breakdown. Havili kicks it away like Beale used to. And Hotham looks confused. Right, number 1 and 2 for the Brumbies are getting taken off the field. So McInerney will make his way off. Oh yeah, Che Fiaki just couldn't quite get that next pass that he wanted there. And I think Cody Taylor needed to shift this. He ran straight into 2 big men. McInerney was ready for it. I don't think there was a knock on there. And that breakdown, always back New Zealand no matter what sport, even a wife carrying comps, says Doctor. But now McInerney and also James Slipper, so that might give them one more warning for Fun Neck rather than getting straight yellow carded for his first scrum into the game. In fact, no, Slipper's off for Bowron, is he? Oh no, they've just got the order around the wrong way for who's coming on and who's coming off. But scrum feed now for the Brumbies. I wonder if there's ever been a time that a side's been yellow carded for putting the ball into their own scrum. Penalty this time goes to the Brumbies. So already Fun Neck has won the early penalty against Fletcher Null. Straight to his knee. He's not happy with Ben O'Keefe. I mean, at the end of the day, though, he's won about 4 penalties, so surely he can't be too annoyed when he gets one against them. And come on, the Crusaders, says Ski. Oh, that's off the side of the boot from Noel Alessio, not getting a huge amount of metres on it. He's disappointed with it, but still found touch, which is better than Burke did earlier on in the game. Now, first line-out throw here for the Brumbies replacement hooker. And Ivan, we've got the Panthers tomorrow. There's Doctor. About to be thrown in. Nicely claimed by Swain. It's going to be knocked on by the Brumbies. So we get to see another scrum. And good point, says King. I think that was great work. In the end, Darcy Swain, he went up for that one. And then I think it was Shelfoon who just slapped it out of his hands pretty much. Just playing the ball rather than the man. In fact, it was Quinton Strange. Just put that little bit more pressure on him. Didn't actually get a hand to it. Swain just put it down. from the pressure. 30 minutes remaining. Crusaders at the moment in terms of the odds, they are $3.20 underdogs, ladies and gentlemen, in this contest. Which, as this match wears on, might change quite a bit. But for now, they are underdogs and they have got themselves the scrum here. And there's a knock on from the Crusaders off the back of their scrum. Mistake made from Christian Leo Willie. And that is a massive reprieve for the Brumbies because they are not having a fun time at scrum time. Although saying that, they just won their last scrum penalty. That was actually their first of the day that they were able to win there. Sounds like they are going for the scrum again, which they have to in this case. Still the Crusaders have more possession, more territory. Scrum feed for the Brumbies here. After 51 minutes, we've seen 7 errors from the Crusaders. Get home them off now. Well, that one was Christian Leo Willie. But I don't think Drummond will be too far from making his way onto the field. Oh, says King. I think all the world's island folk nerd have to go to church tomorrow. Got for the Wires to have a chance. No, nice pass on the outside for Ollie Satsford. Close to the touchline. 2 Crusaders players trying to get in there. That looked very close to Jerome Brown being in touch. Nick Frost. Tackled by Christian Leo Willie. Tom Christie not able to go for that ball. The last thing the Crusaders want is to concede a try at this stage. Reese wanted the turnover. In fact, that time it was Rover. Morning, everyone from Grey Cape Town, says Ruth. Welcome in. Another good low tackle made. On the replacement hooker. Rush defence. Oh, Grace put in a big hit on Noel Alessio. Back across. Nick Frost tackled well. Grace thought about going over the middle of the breakdown, but is told no. Now short ball again. This time he's in the right spot, and this time he gets the penalty for the Crusaders. Great work in the breakdown from Cullen Grace. Not only did he put in a big hit on Noel Alessio, but every breakdown from then he was looking for the chance to get that ball back. And he gets it. I just woke up, still very sleepy, working 2 hours. Crusaders not doing too bad, says Ruth. Oh, gets it into touch well there for Burke. If the Brumbies had scored then, it may have been getting close to too little too late. We saw that in the Reds versus Crusaders game. It seemed to be as the match wore on, they just slowly started losing their momentum, the Crusaders. And nice to see another close game, Hamish. Says Ruth, it certainly is. Yeah, this one seems like it is going to be going down to the wire. Just like some of those other ones that we've seen. Or it was almost a miscommunication. Ben O'Keefe was about to blow his whistle. They've thrown it in, and it's stolen by the Brumbies at line-out time. I think that George Bell might not be too far away from making his way on the field. Cody Taylor having an off game here. And it's certainly starting to show. Noel Alessio. Quick hands to Leonard Cattell, who's been tackled. Reese, I believe, wanted that turnover in the breakdown again. Now back across Jerome Brown. Inside ball. Tackled by Grace, although he was falling. I got a bit on the Warriors. I might pray at the chapel tomorrow for financial blessings, says King. Fun fact, if you hadn't bet on the Warriors, you would have more money than now that you have bet on them. So that's your blessing, and that one's for free. However, the Crusaders could pull this one out, says Ruth. And looks like a couple more changes being made. Jamie Hanna. He's had a few handling errors throughout the season, old Jamie Hanna. Me too, I started my journey too. The Holy Lands of the Wires and Crusaders try win this. We need to beat the Blues. Canes in the finals. Fight for 8th spot, says Jermaine. Right, George Bell. Right, 1-8 is the throw. Not straight from George Bell. Lineouts are shocking for the Crusaders, but their scrum's good. So now it's more of the question of will it be more scrums or more lineouts in the closing moments of this one. Seems to be a real miscommunication, though, between the hooker and the forward pack. Someone needs to just have a bit of a chat and pretty much give them the call before they get to where they're standing, because at the moment it just seems like they're not getting it to the man that they need. To come on the Crusaders, get your skates on, says Stuart Moore. Now, line out throw. We're going to get to see if the replacement hooker for the Brumbies this time, rather than the Crusaders replacement, can do a lot better. Crusaders have lost 3 of their own lineouts. The Brumbies have just lost the 1. Right, they said 32 set, stolen by the Crusaders. No one wants the scrum feed at the moment, it would seem. David Havili just inside of his own in-goal area. Now they're 5 metres out here, the Crusaders. Hotham looking both ways. Back into the pocket to Fergus Burke, who kicks it in touch. It'll be about 15 metres out. It's pretty much where that last line out was. It wasn't the best pass from George Bell. Was a bit low, which stopped Burke from being able to get that initial clearance, which may have made them an extra 15 or so metres. And now another line out, Jerome Brown off the field. It's going to be for Luke Raymer. Also a couple more changes made. Tom Hooper and Sisefu Kaltai. And Brumbies hooker standing in the field of play when he threw in. There's Lollipop. Jerome Brown to make his way off. Ouch. Line out not good. Yeah, currently 50% line out for the Brumbies. 60s, that's not straight. That's poor. That's the worst line out of the day. Ben O'Keefe even smiled about that one. That's how wonky it was. I'm looking for Sevu Reece to score tries. 1 penalty and it's a different game. And hopefully the Brumbies play Druin next year in Fiji. Hopefully. And morning, everyone. Crusaders must win this game, says Benjamin Otto. They definitely need it. They want a chance of making it through to the quarterfinals. Even if they win this game, it's not a guarantee. They would still need to win both of their remaining games to be very much so in with a shot. One of which up against the Blues, the top of the table. Maybe at the end of this round. They're in second at the moment. They've got their game up against the Highlanders. That is kicking off in just over an hour's time. Another big scrum, another advantage going the way of the Crusaders. Reece wanted to keep the ball alive. Not staying straight. First penalty against the new prop, so it's just the warning, but I believe next time it will be the yellow card. And every great dynasty will crumble at some point, sports or otherwise, says Surin. Now kicking for the touch, Fergus Burke. It's the ball out. It's going to be around the halfway line, but Fletcher Knowles had a field day in terms of the penalties that he's been able to win. Crusaders need to ride the horse, not carry it, says Doctor. Now, George Bell, no one wants a line out, like I mentioned. They might even, they've gone to the front. Really good play from the Crusaders. When you know that your line out's not functioning, that is the best thing that you can do. Try and get it to the front quickly while the Brumbies were still setting. Who's commentating this game? It is the Australian commentators, by the sounds of it. Now, that tackle is going to be made. Sitting 40 metres out from their own line here, the Crusaders. Jamie Hanna hits it up. Now Hotham, again, goes across to Johnny McNichol. Bell in behind to Havili. One more to Rover. And the ball is still there for the Crusaders. Time remaining, still another 22 minutes left in this contest. So plenty of time for both of these sides. Now they are getting ready to use this one. He has to use it soon. Does kick it high for Noah Hotham. Chasing this one is Reece, but Muirhead, uncontested, goes almost right up the middle. Bauer makes the tackle. Lonergan again. Going off to the left-hand side. Nolalesio, short ball to Rob Valentini. He's got men with him. He tries to pass it. What a pickup that is from Tom Wright. Ball on the inside to Satsford, who doesn't finish it off. And Noah Hotham, I believe that was almost a not releasing. But the Brumbies round the side. Valentini's over. And the Brumbies strike for their 4th of the contest. Again, Crusaders, all the possession in the world, but no idea how to use it. They want to check it though. To Rob Valentini there. Carrying the horse would be more impressive. String together a nice play there, says King, and some sloppy play. King it up, boys. Well, they've had about 8 handling errors here at the moment, the Crusaders, and it's starting to cost them. Tom Wright, though, he decided to pass on the inside here. Right, it's all clear, they've said. Tom Wright picks it up well. Fergus Burke was covering. I think Tom Wright would have finished that. But he gave it off to Ollie Satsford unselfishly and almost cost them the try, but it has been cleared now. The Brumbies are back on the board one more time. And finishes it there, Rob Valentini. Amazing pickup. Yeah, very lucky bounce for Tom Wright. Sometimes those ones stay at shin height. That one pretty much just came up to halfway or maybe 3/4 of the way up his leg, right into the hand. Now Noel Alessio, he's got that kick just over. That'll make the score now 22 points to 17. In fact, 24, sorry, a 10-point difference between these two sides. But Rob Valentini finishing it off with fashion in there. 20 minutes remaining in this one. Such an important try being scored. Looks like Seb Calder is now making his way onto the field, was it? No, in fact, Tom Gardner is the man who's made his way out there. Tom Wright hit early and hit hard by the Crusaders. Lonergan back into the pocket to Noah Alessio and looking for the exit. But once again, lineouts are not what you want at this stage of the contest. You would much rather just keep that ball alive. Reese is still considering taking it quickly. Now he's not able to. And yep, they're going to take it quickly again here. Seems like the Crusaders' tactic is to try and... What are the numbers there? I never read a history where the Crusaders were outdone by their speed. Says Doctor. Now thrown over the back. Slapped onto the side of the Crusaders. There might have been a knock on the ground there from the Crusaders. But now Johnny McNichol passes on the outside to Che Fiaki. Makes some meters. Ball still there. Noah Otham goes to the short side. Tried to catch him off guard. Johnny McNichol tries to chip him behind. And it's in the end goal. Oh, tell you what. Tom Wright might have just balls that up. And that is the nicest way of putting it. He waited for that ball so that he could place it down. And he may have been beaten to the punch by Johnny McNichol there. They have to go upstairs now. Right, they want to check if it's grounded first by Tom Wright or whether Johnny McNichol actually came through. He's got that, I think. Unless there's a little knock on from him. I think Tom Wright took that way too casually. And the Crusaders may now be back into this game. Now, knock on from Johnny McNichol, just. But Tom Wright will sit there and go, phew. Because that was almost a massive mistake from the fullback, who otherwise has had a sensational game. Going to be no try. Knocked on in goal. It's going to be the goal line dropout. So Crusaders will be back in possession. McNichol's not happy about it. In the slow motion, he'll see that he had clear separation. And Aussie have made this comp very interesting. Says Mana Black. Crusaders now considered as $13 underdogs. They're getting further and further behind now, ladies and gentlemen, at a time in this game where they need to make sure that they are clinical. They have to get that try back very soon. Bobby V just nailed that 8 spot for Oslo. Now McNichol goes across to Cullen Grace. Was a little bit hesitant in terms of picking where he was going to try and go through who scored the Crusaders tries. So far we've seen the 2, one for Sever Reese, one for Johnny McNichol early on. That's close. Nope. It's going to be in the hands of Bauer. Now Burke hit pretty late there from Darcy Swain. Bit of a cheap shot there. He has done cheap shots before though. Harvili now moving at 10 metres out. Tries the offload. Once again, really poor decision making from Harvili. Luckily for him, the Crusaders have been able to rip this ball back. Now Burke 10 metres from the try line. Hotham, short ball to Bell. Finds the offload, but it goes to Hooper. George Bauer takes it straight back. Crusaders thought about going quickly with Jamie Hanna. He's got no protection whatsoever, and the Brumbies win the penalty. Really rushed from the Crusaders in their breakdowns there, and the Brumbies were just patiently waiting for their opportunity to take it back, and they certainly did. And Swain, back to his usual activities. Yeah, he only had him about 5 minutes late in that one, Darcy Swain. Time left, still another 18 minutes remaining here. Yeah, Jamie Hanna just isolating himself. No one was ready for it because they had already done the clean out. and he just pretty much was sitting all by himself with no one with him. Noel Alessio kicks it into touch. Fantastic kick again from Noel Alessio. They'll be 40 metres out from their own line here. Sounds like Harrison Goddard now going to make his way onto the field. That is for Ryan Lonergan, who's been taken off. And Ben O'Donnell, the other man who has made his way onto the field. He looks like an Aussie. He's got the mullet, he's got the mustache. Look at these frustrated Crusaders supporters. I mean, there's a couple. There's not a huge amount of them, though. Good morning, evening, says Flesh, and welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. Ollie Satsford, at least the line out is straight there from the Brumbies. Now kicked high from Noel Alessio. He looked up straight away and said, "Nut, that's poor." And that one, Reese slaps it back, and that's nicely picked up by Goddard. It's going to be kicked in behind. Looking for the 50-22, and he's got it, Goddard. Or is he? I think it's George Bell. Is it? They're just going to check this one. I think that's a 50-22. Hamish, what time do you start your commentary this morning? I set my alarm. Never heard it. It is a 50-22 from Harrison Goddard, so fantastic work. Fiaki, really poor bounce of the ball there. He was waiting for it to go a bit higher. Oh, Len Icatel's almost knocked himself out on the arse of Che Fiaki. Looks like he ate a tailbone to the face. It's going to be well taken by the Brumbies. They've got the penalty advantage as well here. This would extend their lead by just a little bit more, but a try now would almost seal the deal. Noel Alessio goes off to Tom Hooper. Goddard. There across to Luke Raymer. That ball's knocked out. So they will go back for the penalty again. But yeah, we started at 2 p.m. New Zealand time. So we will be going right through to 6 a.m. tomorrow morning from 2 p.m. New Zealand time. What's that in maths? That's a long day, isn't it? 2 to 6, 16-hour day in the commentary box today for ourselves. Thoughts on proposed news that Kane and Hooper play a half each at 7 versus the Lions. As in, like, is it like a ex-players thing, or is it like a Barbarians team, Hanoi? What's the go there? Now about to throw it in, 5 metres out from the line. They need a straight line out here, and that is exactly what they've got. They're in the perfect position here, the Brumbies, to be able to roll this one all the way to the try line. Anzac's game versus the Lions. Yeah, maybe. Could be an option. Goddard goes back across. McNichol runs forward and gets almost dropped in the process of making the tackle. David Havili around the bootlaces. Crusaders looking for the turnover. Goddard gets close. Oh, he's crawled forward there, but was he held? They will check it. Whatever feels sorry for the demise of a team that's won the last 7 or so titles. Says Fleshin. I think deep down, I know a lot of people want to see the Crusaders do badly, but I don't think they wanted to see them do this badly. If that makes sense. They wanted to beat them rather than, it's going to be the penalty to the Crusaders for double movement. Because I believe whoever wins Super Rugby, yes, winning it up against whoever they play in the final will be impressive. But I feel like to be able to, there's still that saying in my head, which is to be the champs, you got to beat the champs. Now, if the champs can't make it in the top 8, it's not your fault. But it still won't quite feel like you've taken the title from them because they haven't been there to defend it, if that makes sense. But once again, still, they'll want to win it. Whoever wins it will be thoroughly deserved. I think people in the UK and South Africa are celebrating the Crusaders' demise. Says annoying Crusaders not on the same page. So disjointed, all unforced error. Nicely taken by Cullen Grace at line-out time. Now Hotham goes across to Havili. Oh, get that man off the field. And that's a knock on there from Macca Springer from a poor pass of Havili. He's already cost the Crusaders, I believe it's 2 games this season. He's looking to make it a 3rd here. But he's been absolutely awful in this game. And that's quite impressive to be able to say he's been worse than he was when he played fly half. Exactly, that's right, says Fleshin. Any chance of covering the Black Ferns versus Canada? It's very slim, I would say, as that'll be during the time I believe that we are sleeping. 13 minutes left in this contest at the moment. Make the Crusaders greater again. says Hanoi. All about to be fed in by Harrison Goddard. I predict the Chiefs will win the Super Rugby. I'm an Auckland supporter, but I want all New Zealand teams to win. Says Chuck the Woke. And now the Brumbies looking to put the final. Oh, tell you what, Johnny McNichol does get the steal. Offloads it up to Reese. The Crusaders, even though they just lost the ball, they might have half a chance here to be able to counter-attack. Back inside of the 22. O'Donnell has to jump on it. He's going to be tackled low. Counter-ruck not quite doing for the Crusaders. Havili needs a Northern Hemisphere contract. I think there's a reason he hasn't got one yet, and it's because they've watched him play in Super Rugby. Now, Nolosio looking for the touchline, hasn't found it, which means the Crusaders are able to attack again. Here comes Macca Springer. Advantage now for the Crusaders. I just want the Crusaders in the playoffs to add a bit more spice. Broadcasters will definitely want it. Well, that's the thing. Like, if the Crusaders are 8th, they will play the top of the table team, and then that is where you get to prove that you are, like, where they should be, if that makes sense, in terms of that top side. Now, Hotham sniping run through the middle, and he scores the try for the Crusaders again round the side of the breakdown. Crusaders back in it. Crusaders being crushed. I'm very sad. Go the Crusaders, says Nov Mum. And wait, my letter order is wrong, says Hanoi. And there as well. I just want the Crusaders. Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? I'm in the UK. I'm not enjoying watching the Crusaders fall like this. It reminds me of a team of my own up here. Hotham says F off haters. Well, there's one of them who was complaining about him earlier on. And that's now going to make the score 24-21. And that's game massive knockout final if the Crusaders versus the Blues or the Canes. Yep, exactly right. Like, broadcasters, like was mentioned, they'll want that. And even if the Crusaders lose that game, like, that is where, like, if this was boxing, right? Crusaders versus Blues or Hurricanes, even though the Crusaders have been struggling, that's your main event. Because, you know, the prestige that comes with that Crusaders kit and the name. Are you kidding me? If Havili gets into the All Blacks, yeah, like, this game for me has shown that he definitely shouldn't be near it. Unfortunately, another game down to the wire. It's been a few of them. Hopefully that Highlanders Blues game next is going to be down to the wire as well. Crusaders are still $4 underdogs in this matchup, ladies and gentlemen. Well, in fact, no, sorry, $3.80 underdogs. This game reminded me of the Drua versus the Brumbies. Crusaders, says Ronnie Wilson. And I know that this sounds crazy to say, but this is the Crusaders game to lose here. Because the Brumbies haven't really looked like the Brumbies at home. Like, normally that is where they do their biggest damage. But in this game, the domination of this game in terms of stats has gone to the Crusaders. Hope Penny gets a 5-year extension if he makes the 8th. Says Hanoi. And Aussie's doing so well. Well needed that miracle try, says Ruth. Now line out here. And they go in to Darcy's way, and that's not straight again. All these lineouts are hurting both sides. And it's really sad because, like, it's windy conditions. It's not easy, and there's so much pressure coming from both sides at lineout time that they're both better at stealing lineouts than they are at retaining lineouts. But yeah, that one drifting in the breeze. Noah Hotham was yelling at him. I think he actually went over to the referee on the sideline and gave him a handshake afterwards and said sorry for getting a bit excited. Got a bit fired up there. Now about to feed the ball, and again, 70 minutes into this contest. And chance to dig deep here, holding strong. Then the big push comes from the Crusaders. The Brumbies firing back, holding their own in that one. Johnny McNichol sells the dummy, goes off to Reese on the outside, who passes one more. Great pickup from Che Fiaki. And the Crusaders are on attack again. From 30 metres out, Reese thought about the short side. Goes across to Cullen Grace, who for me has had a very good game overall. Burke across again and behind Havili. He'll find a way to balls it up. It's a bit harsh, wasn't it? But he has been throughout this game pretty on and off. One penalty and it's a different game. Hotham now going to the short side. George Bell breaks through one tackle. Still running forward. They have to release him now. Any chance of covering the Black Ferns versus Canada tomorrow? I can't remember if I sent this message. You did. But yeah, I don't think I'll get the chance to, as I'll probably be sleeping during that time. And I was there. Come on, boys. Let's go another quick one. Keep that momentum. And Havili is down to a knee at the moment. They may have to take him off the field. Oh, no. Oh, in fact, no. they've got a replacement, I think. Who they still not used? They haven't used Reyes Reyhana. Probably going to be the choice there. Hotham has to dig for that ball. That should be a penalty against Satsford for not rolling away. Now Havili out on the wing. That's going to test out whether or not he's injured. Just got smashed from the side. I mean, G-Man. Or come on. Sorry. So here's a doctor. Short ball. Hannah looks for the offload. Crusaders losing meters at the moment. Fiaki, I don't know why. He's done that. He's gone for the cross kick. Ball bouncing awkwardly. McNichol knocks it on. And gives up the ball again. Why aren't they just running it? Sleep is important, says Novmum. That's what I've heard. That's a great kick. Downfield. And now the Crusaders, they aren't going to take it quickly as they didn't have that next option there. Come on the Brumbies, says Ivan. The line-out imploding average needs spectacles. Yeah, both sides haven't had good line-outs in this one. But then at the same time, they've had great line-outs when it comes to defending the other side's line-out, if that makes sense. I think they'll go to the front here again, the Crusaders. If they get the chance to. They're just getting the numbers right. Seb Calder, they'll run around a little bit, and then I think they'll just fire it straight into him. No, they don't. They go in the middle. Risky, but it's worked out for the Crusaders. Hotham goes across to Havili. Hits the ball up. Might have been McNichol joining from the side of the breakdown there. So sad to see the Crusaders play like this after dominating the last 7 years on sometimes off most. Like the guys you play, or like the guys are playing half-hearted rugby. 6 minutes left though. The Crusaders, oh, that was a play on the man off the ball from Len Ikitau, and the penalty does go the way of the Crusaders. And the crowd are not happy, but that was the reason that the pass didn't find the hands, was because Ikitau pushed him away. 74 minutes gone in this match. It's too close for comfort at the moment, I would say. Crusaders were $4 underdogs at one point in this contest. Who is going to be the player that steps up and says, I am going to score? The Crusaders are going for the 3 points. Che Fiaki. I mean, if it goes over, fair play. But if it doesn't, should they have just kicked for the corner? This is going to be a big tester for them. I think the theory that they're working on is if it doesn't go over, more than likely it's a 22 dropout. But a lot of breeze. Che Fiaki. Is he going to strike him as sweet as he can? Or is he going to try and overcook it and end up missing it away to the side? This would be to make the score 24-24. But Fiaki. A lot of pressure on him. His success throughout his career is 58%. That means he's only got about a 50-50 chance of putting this one through the sticks. He struck it well. Tell you what, he's got it straight over. And that'll make it 24-24. One of the bench players. I don't even know who that was, but he was celebrating big time. That is a massive strike, though. And you could say it's the right decision now that it's gone over, but if it missed, it would have been a big decision. Strange how the Brumbies and Rebels are doing okay. They are the teams most Oz fans want removed. What a kick. Wow. Yeah, perfect kick from Che Fiaki. Strain a little. We got a spray situation. And also we've got the extra time coming, says Annoy. Havili taken off the field here for Reyes Reyhana. It's kicked off now by Norlisio, taken by Cullen Grace inside of his own 22. Big pressure being put on from the Brumbies in the breakdown until they pull out. Now Hotham wants that ball. You're holding him in. It's your own leg. Tell you what, he has to use this one. Could have got himself in a bit of trouble there. Quinton Strange now hits the ball up. Hotham. All right, extra time pro gamer move. Let's go Crusaders. Yeah, they've got 4 minutes remaining at the moment. Fergus Burke looking for touch. Reyes Reyhana was also back in the pocket, so there was a bit of a miscommunication there. Great kick from Burke. Down towards the halfway line. Brumbies choking to the Crusaders. Their 2,000 counterparts did to Mertens. Says Hanoi. And bless up, go Crusaders. 4 minutes left at the moment between these two sides. Who is going to win it? The Crusaders don't need a bonus point win. They just need a win to keep their hopes of making it to the end of the competition alive. Going to be thrown in Oh, well contested in the air by the Crusaders. They look to push him towards the touchline, but the Brumbies still in possession. And play fast Crusaders run Sater Sivu. CS King, perhaps he could get himself his 13th. Unlucky for some, but for Sivu it may be the match winner if he can. They've been told to use it with Harrison Goddard. Kicking it into the breeze. This is not going to be an easy one. And straight away, Burke says he wants it, but he's knocked it on. It's gone back, they've said, actually. So it's going to be play on. Oh, right there's the Rayhana. Why has he kicked that? It's gone downfield. Oh, great take from Tom Wright. He's got all the time in the world to line up this kick. He's going to run it. Reese wants him, but he won't be able to catch him there. That's a forward pass from the Brumbies by about 3 or 4 metres. And the ref says play on. Now Brumbies off to the left-hand side. Rob Bellatini, Satsford passes one more to O'Donnell. Goes for the chip in behind, and the mark is taken by the Crusaders. We're going to see a replay here of Tom Wright's pass, but I thought that was forward. Yep, the commentators there have just said, I'm sure of it, that it was a forward pass, and that was the Australian commentator as well. Looked a bit forward, said one of them as well. Here we go, we'll get to see the run back. I think we're going to see a strategic angle, yet we are, which isn't going to show that pass from the right angle there. Well done from Reimer to be able to hang on to it forward, says King. Now 40 metres out now. Oh, that wasn't that straight. But it's going to be play on here. Rolling more for the Brumbies. Crusaders have to make sure they are joining this one legally from the back. George Bell, he managed to get that one almost for the Crusaders. There are 2 minutes remaining. Hooper hits the ball up, Bell's on it, loses his footing. Goddard again. Now going to the short side. Reimer goes off to Rob Bellatini. Breaking through Big Rob, and he has had a sensational game so far. Over the ball, gives away the penalty there, the Crusaders. So for Tom Brady is jealous. And why does TMO overlook forward passes? I think it has to be within 3 phases, but they should have been able to look at that. But it's only they can look at it on the TMO if it leads to a try-scoring situation. If that makes sense. And also, Aussie's blind to the forward, whatever. Says choke the woke. And also Aussie's rush now, although they've got a minute remaining. It's going to be into the breeze. And because Aussie's cheat says choke the woke. And now Noel Alessio, this should almost use up the rest of the time. Does 1 bonus point help the Crusaders much? It helps them a little bit, but they would still need probably 2 bonus point wins in their last 2 games. Is it windy? There is a bit of wind around. Here we go. Please miss the kick. Says Novmum. So if he misses this kick, we're going to golden point time, ladies and gentlemen. The scoreboard is still wrong. The Crusaders have 24 points. If he misses this, Noah Lolesio, we are sitting at a draw. Can he get it? 15 seconds left. He's struck it. It's hit the post. And it goes dead. It's going to be the goal line dropout, although it's slapped back. Hang on. The Crusaders have slapped this one dead. You're not allowed to do that. In NRL you are. In Rugby Union you are not. So they're going to check this one. This is probably going to be a penalty in favour of the Brumbies for slapping the ball dead from the Crusaders. So they're checking this one to see if it's just fallen dead. That looks like he's deliberately hit it dead. Which means foul play. And that means it's going to be a penalty. It's going to be a yellow card penalty try. The Brumbies will win this game 31 points to 24. Penalty try. And that's going to be the end of the game, ladies and gentlemen. The Brumbies have got the job done. Wait, what? So yeah, because it's a penalty try, the difference is still 7. Wait a minute. 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 We got one more reset. Because it is 79.58, the game continues. 31 points to 24, and the Crusaders have one more kickoff. The game is not over. Because they didn't have to take the kick, there's still time, because it's the penalty try, that there's one last chance for the Crusaders to kick that one downfield. And they've gone for the kick just the 10 metres. The siren's sounding, and it's going to be knocked on by the Crusaders. The Brumbies kick it into touch, and they have beaten the Crusaders at GIO Stadium 31 points to 24. That was almost a little bit of a late turn in that matchup, but nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. The Brumbies victorious 31 points to 24. The Crusaders get 1 point, which moves them up to 9th on the overall standings. The pressure now on the Waratahs and the Western Force to get that 9th place back by the end of the one. That's ironic. Tony hated Crusaders lose because he thought they were playing league, says Fleshin, and Super Play Basics law knowledge out of the window. And what a dramatic shambles, and great commentary, mate, says Reflecting Trees. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated your being here for this game. Super Reese played his heart out in this contest, but unfortunately for him, his team just didn't quite get the job done. And it's all because Quinton Strange did not put a second hand up to try and catch that ball. So it's a yellow card. It's the penalty try. And the Brumbies win it 31 points to 24. Now, I'm not going to kind of nitpick at this game, but I'm just going to have a quick look and see that forward pass from Tom Wright again, just to see how bad it actually was. Can't remember when it happened, though. I think it was kicked off. One moment. Just checking. Good grief, ridiculous finish, says Scott Miller. And Aussie Cheetah says, choke the woke. I just want to... I'm not saying that this would have changed the game. I just want to see whether or not it was actually as forward as I thought it was. Right. So Tom Wright runs this one. And maybe I'm just a bit bitter. Once again, overlooked forward passes, continue to play rugby. Right. So he passes it from there. You could make the argument he tried to throw it backwards, but it was a forward pass. So, at the end of the day, it didn't change the result. The Crusaders still had an opportunity to get themselves another try at the end there. The mistake, though, for the penalty try did also hurt them quite a bit. It was well forward, says Lollipop. Yeah, I just want to make sure my eyes weren't tricking me for that one. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. The next live stream that we have got is in 35 minutes' time. That'll be taking place between the Highlanders and the Blues. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all for the next one.